Hey everyone, this is Ginger from my sister Scrapper. Welcome back to part 3 of our tutorial series on the Pocket Page mini album. What we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and get our design papers cut, and we're going to go ahead and add the flaps and get our pages, the bases on, and then we can cover them with our design paper. And again, I will give you the measurements that we're going to be using for the design paper, as well as the measurements for the covers. And they'll be down in the description box, so if you have a pencil, you can write them down. Otherwise, they will be in the description box for you. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and decide. I have to do this because otherwise I end up not having any papers left for my cover. I like to use a combination of the 6x6 as well as the 12x12 because for my covers, I like the larger graphics, the bigger designs for my covers. And then the 6x6 does work perfect for the whole mini album because our mini album is actually 6x6 on the covers and 5 3/4 pages. So not a lot of trimming, and just make sure that if you're going to use a 6x6 that it has more than 24 pages. If it only has 24 pages, you're going to need 2 of those because 24 is not going to be enough to mat everything unless you supplement it with another paper line. So I'm going to use the crepe paper Little Bo Peep, even though I've already made a mini album out of it, but I'm going to use, because this is what I bought originally, I'm going to use the 6x6 and the 12x12. So for my cover, I'm going to use, I think, this pink for the front cover, and then I'm going to use this for the back. And I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do on the spine, because I want to use, on my cover, I want it, instead of a big design print, I want to use some of these chipboard pieces for my cover, so that's why I kind of want more of a less busy background. So that's my reasoning for that. So decide what you want for your front and back covers and set those pages aside, and then you can go ahead and use the rest of your papers. Now that you know what you got, you're going to need a front and a back cover, and then a front inside cover and a back inside cover. So you're going to need 4 pieces for your covers, front and inside. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our pocket pages, the 5 pocket pages that we have, and we're going to go ahead and attach our flaps before we put our design papers on. I like to go ahead and create my pages and then put the design papers down and decorate everything, and then add my pages to my book at the very end. That's the last thing I like to do. It just makes it easier because it's easier to work with. So go ahead and get the one little flap that you did already. So on my first page, this will be page 1, we're going to go ahead and attach our flap to our page. Now I don't like to put it inside here, just because, I don't know why, but I just don't. I like to put it on the outside because I am going to go ahead and put my tag in there. So I want to go ahead and add my flap to the outside edge. And as you'll notice when you lay it on top of there, that your flap is not quite as high as the as your page. I just do it that way. That way it's easier, so you don't want it to be crooked. You want it a little bit smaller. So what we're going to do, if you want to do a decorative edge on your flaps, go ahead and do that now. And I think I will use, I've changed my mind several times, either this one or this one, and I think I'm going to just use the little scallop edge. So go ahead and punch your decorative edge first, and I like to line it up in the center and then punch, and then go ahead and move it down. So that's going to be my decorative edge. Now we're going to go ahead and adhere our flap to the open end. So the left is our binding and the right is our tag, and we want to put this on the opening where our tag is going to come out. So what we've done, we've went ahead and folded this. So we're going to go ahead and add our score tape in the folded position right here on our tab. So get your score tape out again. Put it right on that flap. and you don't want to go over your score line. And then you're going to go ahead and taper your ends, because this is going to get covered up anyway, but we want to make sure that it looks neat. And go ahead and put it right on the edge here. It's going to go on the right hand side, but I'm going to flip mine around because it's easier for me to work that way. And line it up and make sure that you're evenly spaced from top to bottom. So you should have about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Okay. So that's our flap for that page. And don't worry about this because this is going to get covered up with our design paper on the inside. That's why we want to attach our flap first. Now if you want, you can use a magnet and hold these closed. It's up to you. If you are going to do that, you want to do that before you put your design paper on. And I have several people ask about the magnets that I use. I do use the Basic Gray small magnetic snaps. They're called magnetic discs. You get 10 sets in here, and they're super, super thin. I do buy them online at joann.com whenever I can. And when I see them there, then I do buy as many as I can afford because they sell out really, really fast. And they're usually on sale. I try to buy them when they're on sale at Joann. So if you see them, get them because they're really hard to find. But they're my favorite. So we've got that. Now we're going to go ahead and add the 2 flaps to the other 2 pages because we cut 3 flaps. So go ahead and set that aside and do the same thing to the other 2 pages. Go ahead and punch your decorative edge first. And I just scoot it down here so I can see so my head's not in the way. Add your score tape in the folded position. Again, your flap is going to go on the right hand side. So I'm going to line it up there and there. Okay, so go ahead and do the last one like that. Okay, so we have 3 pages now that have the flap on them. And then we're going to take our other page that's going to have the long pocket that we created, and then we had to add the extra little hinge. So in order to attach that, we need to go ahead and make this little piece right here. So what we're going to do for this is we are going to attach it to the back of here first on the folded edge, not the open edge. And if it's you might want to just trim it down just a smidge. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that on just like that. So go ahead and again put your score tape. So if it's up in a V like this, you're going to put your score tape on this side here. And burnish it really well. And add it to the, here's your open piece, and this is the folded edge. We're going to add it to the folded edge. Yes. Okay. It's a little sticky here, but just and put it right so it's even with that fold. Just like that. Okay. So now we have this hinge, and then what we're going to do with the hinge is we're going to go ahead and add it right here, just like we did the other ones. I'm going to add it right here to the outside. What do I want on this side? It doesn't matter. Okay. So again, go ahead and put your score tape. On your other side. Go ahead and angle your corners. And again, you're going to add it to the open side right here. And go ahead, and now this is actually the same size as our page, so it's going to look like just an extension. So this should go from edge to edge, whereas the other flaps were a little bit shorter. And that looks pretty good. And press it down. So that's going to go out like this, or if you have it on this side, it'll go out like this, okay? So you can put it on whatever side you want, as long as it's on the open end on the right. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is we are going to take this flap, and the way I originally created this flap was I wanted to put 2 tags in here, but in order to keep the tags from sliding around, instead of making 2 separate pockets and attaching them, I just decided to take my little, this is a good opportunity for a new tool, the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher or any stapler, and I just went ahead and stapled it right in the middle. So if you have a little ruler, a centering ruler, just go ahead and find the center of your thing and just put a little pencil mark there. Because it's going to get covered up with design paper anyway. And then we're going to go ahead and get our little stapler, and we're going to go ahead and staple that. So go ahead and just put your staple in there where your pencil mark was, and I usually do a couple of them instead of just one at the top. That way I know it's not going to flop around as far as my stapler will go. Let's make sure my line is right. Like that. Okay, so that way when you put your tags in there, they'll stay where you put them. And our measurements will work for our tags with the ones I gave you earlier. Okay, so now we have our pages, and then we have one page that we left as just a plain pocket. So what we might do on that is we might do some nifty little fold out. I haven't decided, but I wanted to leave one as an option to do something different with. Okay, so these are basically our pages. We have the flaps, and again, if you want the flap to go on this way, you can. Like on the one mini album, I made them back to back, so they were like this. Or you can have them like this. And then we have our tag pages, which we're not doing anything with them. They're going to go on our hinges, side to side like this. They're going to be doubled. So you can put your pages in any order. I'm going to start out with a flat page first, and then I think I will have another flat page going this way, And then I think I will have my double pockets. And then I think I will go ahead and add another flat page. And then I'll add this one here with the little cute little tags. And then my last one will be this way. So that's how I'm going to do mine. And I might change my mind again. But anyway, now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the measurements for the design paper. And you can go ahead and get all your papers cut. And then attach to however you want your papers to go. So what you're going to need for your covers, you're going to need 4. One for the front, one for the back, and one for the spine, unless you want to use like some fabric trim or something and overlap it. I'm just going to give you the measurements for if you were to use a piece of your design paper. And then you'll need a piece for the inside and also the back inside. So those measurements for that, depending on how much of a space you want to leave. If you want to leave 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch, I like to leave 1/8 of an inch. Your measurements for this piece will be 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And if you want a bigger little matting, you're going to need 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so you're going to need 4 that are going to be that size. 1 for the front, 1 for the back, and then 2 for the insides. And then on your spine piece, you're going to need a piece that's going to be 2 3/4. Even though our spine was 2 3/4, we've got those spaces in there. So I like to cut it the same size as my spine. And then if I do have to trim a little bit off, it's better to trim it after that. So 2 3/4 by 5 7/8. Or if you want more of a space, you'll make it 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay. So you're going to need one of those. So those are the measurements for your design papers for your covers. And then for your pocket pages, these pages right here, you're going to need 10 because we have 5 pages that are like this. So for the piece that goes right here and for the piece that goes in the back, they're going to be 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. If you want more of a border, you'll make them 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. Okay. Now these flat pieces for here, those measurements are going to be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you know what? Since I did that decorative edge, I might want to remeasure that. Yep, I sure do. Okay, we're going to make that. We're going to change that measurement. Sorry, guys. I totally forgot about my decorative edge. It's going to be 5 3/8 by 3 3/4. And you're going to need 6 of those because we had 3 pages that had flaps. So you need a front and a back. Okay, you need 6 of that size. And if you want them to be more of a gap, you're going to make it 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. And again, you'll need 6 if you want more of a border than that, okay? I like to give both measurements because some people only like a little tiny border and some people like a larger border of the cardstock showing for the matting. Okay, so for your tag pages, which is this piece right here, you're going to need 5 5/8 by 3 1/8, and you're going to need 4, so you have front and a back. 4 of those, or if you want more of a border, it's going to be 5 1/2 by 3. And for that long pocket, the one that we stapled, we're going ahead and need that piece, which is right here. You're going to need 2 pieces, and again, you're just going to cover right over the staples and everything so they won't show. You're going to need a piece that's 5 5/8 by 3 1/8, and you'll need 2 pieces, a front and a back. Okay, and if you want more of a border, it's going to be 5 1/2 by 3. Okay, so go ahead and I'm going to stop the video and you guys can go ahead and get your design papers cut and you can start gluing them down if you want, and we'll come back for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.